Hi Aries, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of July. What a month June was with the eclipse energy and major revelations, a lot of mutable energy, meaning that 3 points were transiting in the mutable air sign of Gemini during the solar eclipse, bringing a lot of change and a lot of information, because Mercury was the ruler of this new moon eclipse and was a key player, as it was only a degree off from the solar eclipse. Add to the fact that both Jupiter and Neptune were transiting and are transiting in the mutable water sign of Pisces, and the new moon squared Neptune in Pisces. Jupiter and Neptune both station retrograde at the end of June in your 12th house of the subconscious mind and endings and the imagination. And it's been a very emotional, confusing, and illuminating eclipse season, but much change, major revelations, and just a lot going on. So as we begin the month of July, we're all still reconciling all the messages and lessons that we experienced during this eclipse season. And we're still technically in eclipse season. So on July 1st, at the beginning of the month, Venus and Mars are both transiting in the fixed fire sign of Leo in your house of romance and creativity and love affairs. So if you're single, this is an excellent opportunity for meeting people, for having fun, for doing creative endeavors. It's great for dealing with children and for tapping into your inner child. And even if you're not single, it's excellent for having a good time. And we all need that after all that we've been through, trying to have some fun again. And on July 1st, Mars opposes Saturn at 9:08 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Mars is the ruler of your sign, and it's transiting in your house of romance. Saturn is transiting in the fixed air sign of Aquarius in your house of friends and groups. That could bring conflict with friendships or with romantic people, connections. So just know that's not the easiest energy, but that, having patience. A lot of people are traveling. It's a holiday weekend in the United States, so having patience, not necessarily your strongest trait, but doesn't mean you can't have it. Not my strongest trait either, but that's a day we're all going to have some patience. But the other thing that day is that the sun forms a helpful semi-sextile to the north node of destiny, and that occurs at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could bring fated encounters and opportunities. On July 2nd, Mars, which is transiting in Leo, forms a beautiful trine to Chiron, the wounded healer. And Chiron is transiting in your sign, in your house of self and identity. Mars in Leo gives you the courage to open your heart and feel the wounds, and to have the strength of ego to do so. And on the 3rd of July, there's a lot going on. So the moon enters the fixed earth sign of Taurus, where it will be for the holiday weekend. And this occurs at 8:28 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And the moon is exalted in Taurus. It's a beautiful placement. It's ruled by Venus, good food, all of the senses, really enjoying, good things in life. But the moon does make good aspects on the 3rd. It sextiles Jupiter at 12:19 p.m. It's making a lot of aspects over the weekend. Good and some more challenging. But on the 3rd, we have a beautiful energy. One that I think we all should pay attention to is that Jupiter forms a quintile to Uranus at 5:05 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Jupiter is transiting in Pisces in its dignity, And a quintile is a 72-degree aspect that is the fifth of a circle. And it brings magic and fairy tales and just really manifesting potential. And it helps to bring a flow of energy with the two planets involved. And with Jupiter and Uranus, when they are working well together, it could bring unexpected travel, learning, socializing, connecting, and opening of your consciousness. It's a really magical energy. So hold on to that part of the weekend, okay? On the 3rd, Mars squares Uranus, and that occurs at 9:40 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That could bring accidents potentially, so be extra careful on the road, and people will be a bit fiery with all of this. And so just knowing that you want to have fun, you want to tap into the magic, but there are, some easier and more challenging influences. Now, as we get to late into the 3rd, early into the 4th, the moon squares Venus, and that occurs approximately at 10:44 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time and at 1:44 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that could be a little bit of conflict. Later on in the morning, the moon squares Saturn. That's more restrictive. The moon sextiles the sun. That's helpful. Then at 12:41 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, on the 4th, the moon meets up with Uranus. That could bring definite, unexpected changes, twists and turns. Could be good, could be a little more difficult. With Uranus, expect the unexpected, but that's at play. And then at 1:28 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the moon squares Mars. So that can be a bit contentious. So we've got that at play. The sun squares Chiron, the wounded healer, also on the day of July 4th, and I think that makes sense because there are a lot of people that won't be with us this year during these holidays. It pronounces that fact for all of us and honoring those that aren't with us. And Chiron is transiting in your sign, and the sun is transiting in the cardinal water sign of Cancer in your house of home and emotional security. On the 5th of July, the sun forms a beautiful sextile to Uranus, and that can bring innovative opportunities for financial endeavors. If you have your own business, this could be really positive. It's also really good for dealing with situations at home. If you're fixing up your place, just a nice energy. On the 6th of July, we have more challenging influences, and that might be a day to lay low if you're able. At 3:39 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Mercury squares Neptune, and that can bring confusion, that can bring deception or misunderstandings. And then later in the day at 10:36 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Venus opposes Saturn, and that could bring conflict with relationships. It could bring potential breakups, so lay low if you're able. Like I said, try to work on your own projects and also know that that energy is at play. On the 8th of July, Venus squares Uranus, and that occurs at 6:36 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that can be very magical energy. You could meet somebody unexpectedly. There could be unexpected financial opportunities. It could be very fun and creative. There can also be twists and turns. Maybe there's a little turbulence with financial or social relations, but you again, try to be creative and innovative with that energy. On the 9th of July, there is a new moon that takes place at 9:17 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 13 degrees and 2 minutes of the cardinal water sign of Cancer. This new moon takes place in your house of home and family and security. It also directly sets off where the lunar eclipse was on July 5th of last year, when we had that final eclipse in Capricorn at 13 degrees of Capricorn. This sets it off, hopefully bringing completion to things you've been working on. That eclipse occurred in your house of career. This new moon occurs in your house of security and home. Finding security in a new era and really, tapping into what you want to manifest. The moon rules the sector of the chart in astrology, so it's a very manifesting new moon. Set intentions, do the law of abundance, and the moon does square Chiron, the wounded healer, at 11:19 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Again, realizing what you want to heal, so that you can really bring in new happiness into your life in this time. And then on July 11th, Mercury, the planet of communication, finally leaves the sign of Gemini, where it's been touring since May 3rd. In your house of local community and communication, you've been all over the place, communicating, marketing, interacting with many different people, I assume, with all of this Mercury energy for so long. And it enters Cancer on July 11th at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and it will be there until July 27th. And this is a good time for focusing on home, getting organized, and if you have your own business, excellent for bringing in all forms of communication. On July 12th, Mercury forms a beautiful trine to Jupiter. And this for you is really good manifesting energy, because Jupiter is transiting in its dignity by ancient astrology in your house of the imagination. So doing some journaling or maybe working with a vision board would be a good use of that energy the day after the right after the new moon too. And then on July 13th, that's a date you want to circle, because it's a very sexy energy, very creative energy. At 9:33 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Venus and Mars meet up at 19 degrees of the fixed fire sign of Leo in your house of romance and creativity and fun. This is a great energy, so tap into whatever you want to do with that energy and really target that, whether you're going on a first date, whether you're doing something creatively, whether you're just having fun, planning a trip. Really nice energy. On, on July 15th, Mercury forms a trine to Neptune, and this occurs at 4:49 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and actually the sun rather, and that can be very manifesting energy. And then at 12:41 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Chiron, the wounded healer, stations retrograde at 12 degrees of your sign. And you will feel that, but it's also, again, an opportunity to feel the vulnerability that you may feel and trying to work with the wounds around ego and identity. And this gives you an opportune chance to do so. And then on, on July 17th, the sun opposes Pluto at 6:46 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That could bring conflict, that can bring issues at work or with family. Could be power struggles, can be endings, but definitely be contentious energy, so kind of lay low with that. On the 21st of July, Venus enters the mutable Earth sign of Virgo at 8:37 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where it will be until August 15th. And that is a good opportunity for you to focus on your habits, on your health routine, on your work, and on getting organized. So It's good for really paying attention to details and really trying to fine-tune whatever it is you want to, whether it is in your work life or in your health and nutrition. And then on the 22nd of July, the sun enters the fixed fire sign of Leo and enters your house of romance and creativity, where it will be until August 22nd. So more energy around love and fun, and that's really nice for you. The sun in Aries and Leo, they're very compatible with one another. So nice energy with the sun in Leo. And then on July 25th, Mercury opposes Pluto at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could bring definite arguments, could bring moves and changes, whether it's a change at work, a big move, maybe some news gets uncovered of changes at the workplace, but that can be combative energy, so lay low with that. On the 27th of July, Mercury enters the fixed fire sign of Leo, where it will be until August 11th, and more energy on your romantic and creative life. But I omitted something that's important. On July 23rd, there is a full moon that takes place at 10:34 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 1 degree and 26 minutes of the fixed air sign of Aquarius. Now, why is that important? Well, it's a full moon, and it's in your house of friends and groups. There could be stuff going on with friendships, but more importantly, Saturn got to 1 degree of Aquarius last year. It entered Aquarius on March 23rd, and it exited on July 1st. So this full moon is setting off where Saturn was in the midst of 2020, when we were dealing with the year of lockdown. And so reconciling some of those stories that we've all been working with for a while. And on July 29th, Mars enters the sign of Virgo, where it will be until September 14th, and it's transiting in your house of work and routine and daily habits. So I wish you a lot of luck. It's not as crazed of a month as June was, that's for sure, and a lot of focus on your love life, a lot of fifth house activities. So I wish you a lot of luck, Aries, and thank you very much. Take care.